Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to a game of Endless Legend in which things are rapidly changing, including the sound of my voice. I got a new microphone and it's gonna be a minute while I figure out how to use it, so apologies for the audio journey that I am dragging you all along on here, but we'll get it to a place where it's good. I think there are elements of this sound that are much better, in particular my control over noises that are not my voice, because this is a microphone that is actually intended for this purpose, as opposed to the other one, which, as far as I can tell, was intended for the purpose of recording everything that happens in a 50-mile radius. But yeah, it's going to take me a little while, so apologies on that. But more to the direct point here, a lot of stuff is going on in this game. Things are moving fast. So, first of all, obviously, we're getting more territory, and that's wonderful. It gives us easy places to put up fungal blooms, which are, of course, bringing in resources and stuff. Whenever we overgrow a village, whenever we overgrow a tile of any kind, we get the resources on that tile. When we overgrow watchtower bases, we actually get the resources on that tile and the resources on the highest value adjacent tile. So, like, getting this one would give us the ruby cactus field over here. That's probably a thing I should be doing. I kind of spaced on that for a while, but yeah, it's definitely a thing we ought to work out. And of course, we're getting cool traits from buying cities off of people. But probably the most important change that has just occurred is that pink has been removed from the game, which means that there's one fewer player for us to have a relationship with. The total number of diplomatic points per turn available just went down. That's a big deal. That slows us down. It does not slow us down relative to Green's diplomatic victory attempt, because obviously they lost that relationship as well, but it does slow us down relative to every other victory condition. So I am a little bit worried. And then, of course, you know, our influence output is nowhere near what I would like it to be, so we really do have to figure out how we're going to get this Throne of the Emperors going. It is still the case that nobody else has started it yet, and we're working on Rare Metal Foundry in an attempt to get some Hyperium gathering going. We're going to have the Mithrite we need pretty soon without even really having to work for it, thanks to the fortress. But is there Hyperium on the market? There is some Hyperium, and it's not cheap. It may well be the case that the best thing we can do right now is refocus our city on science until we actually get this tech, and then go back to whatever we were doing. And also, I should point out, as soon as I loaded in, I received a couple of trade offers. So this happens, I think, because when you load a game, all of the AI players sort of like recalculate their positions fresh. And it causes you to suddenly receive, like when you load in, it's often the case that like somebody will change their diplomatic standing with you. Or they'll come to you with something like this, where they offer 50 titanium in exchange for 22 mithrite. I just can't understand how he thought... okay, listen. Points to the Morgar player for being honest, at least. I think you should take this offer because it would be useful to me. Those points for honesty do not extend to me actually doing the thing, but, you know, again, I do appreciate it. Our offer is magnanimous. Give me 22 mithrite for a small quantity of moonleaf. Now, that's cool. I'm good. So yeah, let's maybe bump Sharon all the way over to science. We have pretty good science output here. We can pull 2 turns off of that. And then we probably commit real hard to industry to build the extractors. Oh, actually, sorry. No, we don't. That's not how that works. Sorry, I forgot which faction we were playing. We commit back to food to build those extractors. And then, like, do I think... I mean, it is worth noting that the demand meter for Hyperium is right in the middle, so it may be the case that people are not really buying or selling Hyperium. Mithrite seems to be the high-value resource. Everybody's after it. And we really don't want to give it up. I really just do not want to give it to anyone else. So there's no sense in activating the wine booster. We're low on approval because of the assimilating city. It'll get fixed when it gets finished. How many turns do we have left on all these? Okay, and our booster costs are getting high enough that we will not be able to keep everything running all the time without supplementing it. This is the trade-off for picking up new cities and stuff. But, like, we're getting a lot of total resources out of these new cities. If we look at this region, you can see its watchtower is getting those resources plus all of that. They have a golem camp here, which is exploiting all of these tiles, and all of that stuff will be coming back to us. Yeah, like, there's a lot of value in these extra regions. It's a lot of total points of stuff. Yeah, alright, I guess nothing for it but to move on. I guess, sorry, we have armies that should be doing stuff, like getting the pearls in my own region. That seems wise. And then I'm sure my plan was to go to that ruin, so we will go do that. Please just find me 35 Hyperium. What if it was a ruin full of 35 Hyperium? Okay. It was a ruin full of a weird technology and also 300 science. That's a lot, actually. That's a quarter of our per turn Empire science value. You were headed somewhere for the faction quest, right? Utanla and Einar here. Let's pin this so I don't forget. Utanla and Einar have hostile armies in them that we must fight. Okay, yeah. So we were probably headed to that. And I'm sure Green will be fine with me murdering some mages up in their territory. We haven't really seen... we haven't seen an Ardent Mages player yet, have we? Maybe we should do them next. They're really cool. They have a lot of very strange mechanics. Yeah, and with that, I think we just let this go on. I don't think it makes a huge amount of sense to do anything with Fakir. I guess we can have Fakir uproot and grab that pearl that's right next to him. And I guess we can move him sort of more to the center of the area. So we don't even have the technology for overgrowing watchtower foundations into watchtowers. We had these ones because these ones over here because they were already built before we took the cities. That is definitely something I should go back for. Like I said, I kind of forgot how valuable that is. And that is on the Imperial Highways technology, which obviously does not have a huge amount of value for us otherwise, especially if we're planning on getting cargo docks and thus being able to run trade routes from that. But yeah, that's a thing that's worth doing. Is it a thing that's worth delaying any of this stuff for? Honestly, I don't know. I do feel like I've done a pretty good job, like, making this city large and stable and powerful. I worry that it's not going to be enough. And the diplomatic victory is a tough one, and it sort of requires the cooperation of other players, and maybe should have had a different plan in mind. I don't know. All right, they're going to run around. We'll get to them. I'm not in a huge hurry. Obviously, ruins are very good for us right now, so let's just make sure we're getting those. Oh. For some reason, I got that, even though we definitely did not build a cargo dock on account of there was no way for us to do so. I am picking up pearls in Green's territory, and Green is maybe going to be annoyed about that. But, you know, Green was just telling me that they feel like we're blood brothers, so it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Yeah, let's have you swing down here for this one. We have other ships in the area that can go for the others. I'll try to be a little bit more careful about the pearls. So we've got our great big national arena. At this point, we just build more military units, right? Just fill the garrisons so that our heroes getting maximum XP every turn. And, you know, for defense or whatever. So the Quicksilver has run out, and it looks like we're probably not going to be able to get another Quicksilver booster. Oh, actually, pretty soon we will be able to. When these things run out, there are going to be some significant gaps in, like, the Dust Orchid and Titan Bones coverage, But once we get the extractors, the land extractors for this stuff up, we can work on that a little bit. And we should probably at least take a peek at what's going on with the Hyperium every turn. See if somebody dumps some, we can sell some things to the market and maybe make some money that way. But we're still, it feels like we're still in preparatory phases for the execution of our real plan. Like we need that hospitality den finished. And that's not exactly where you want to be in the 80s. You definitely want to be, you know, starting to fire your engine, whatever your engine is. So you're just headed for this one. There's a little bit of turbulence to help us get there. Not as much as I would like. Alright, we must fight you. No, don't run! No! As soon as I committed my movement, they moved away. What a bunch of bastards. Alright, well, we'll have to go after him next turn. A map exchange with blue. Is that likely to be of any benefit to me? No, in fact, it basically cannot be. So, let's counterpropose. This is only very, very minorly positive, so in fact, we're not going to be able to get anything out of them. I wonder if we could get that Hyperium, though. What's this? Oh, yeah, people fired boosters. Lack of luxury has ended, which is going to help us quite a lot with those booster costs. And we got a little bit of money from it. We did not win. So is there something I can give you that would... Wow, they really love statistical methods. Do they a city love statistical methods? No, not quite that much. But they could maybe give us some of this stuff that I want. Like if I got Imperial Highways from them right now... Am I worried about them winning? Particularly, am I worried about them winning a science victory? They're pretty far behind on research. They're not really a science victory threat. I think we can afford to do this. I think it doesn't improve their lot in a way that threatens us. It's a deal that's somewhat to their benefit, and they'll remember that. Oh, one more thing I do want to check. Are we actually running trade? We are not, in fact, running trade with anyone. No one else has built a dock. All right, so there's no benefit then in trying to wring a commercial or research agreement out of them. All right, let's do it. And they're into it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna be definitely helpful. So we can go ahead and build right-of-way in our city here and get some road trade going with other players since they don't want to do sea trade with me. And then let's talk about building some of those old Mycaran extractors. So that's critically important. And then where do we want a watchtower? We're already exploiting the high-value stuff around here. Remember, every overgrowth we have going does cost us resources, so there are some places where it's just not worth doing it. These two, I think, are both worthwhile. Both for the vision and for the fact that they have an anomaly adjacent to them. This one, less so. The tiles around here are a little bit weaker. Yeah, we'll start with these, and then are there watchtower positions over here that didn't get built that I would like built? Yeah, this one's pretty good. That would put us out of food. That's the amount of stuff we can afford to be setting up right now. Well, okay then. So lack of luxuries is over. We are going to be able to run our boosters. Hooray. We're working on our technologies. We do have the ability to rerun the Quicksilver, and I guess we should. There's no reason not to have the Quicksilver running. You know, our combat units could use the experience. If we're going to have a tiny army, it must be a powerful tiny army, right? Not that I necessarily expect we're going to have to make much use of it. I think that it's probably the case that we are not going to get attacked unless we somehow get ourselves into an actually winning the game kind of position, which I am not feeling super confident about, obviously. So I don't know when we're going to pull people back off of science. I definitely want to finish Hospitality Den as quickly as we can, and we'll see from there. Ulani Rawi continues to level up, and so we're partially immune to winter already, right? Didn't we? For some reason, we had a thing that was making me not excited about this. So I'm just going to grab the last point of blazing ingenuity here. Look at all the science. Okay, they considered that to be of value. I have the best maps. That is absolutely for sure. So what if I managed to negotiate like 13 Hyperium out of you? Is it still the case that nobody has started construction of this thing? It is. And it's 35-35, so we're going to be there pretty soon on the Mithrite. The thing is, we don't want to trade them any technology. Right? Oh, no, sorry. That's right. They're past the threshold for research. We can totally afford to trade them technology, and we already traded them everything that they could possibly want. I really want to get the build started as quickly as possible here. So I'm willing to maybe make an expensive deal. And then, of course, making expensive deals is good for us in a variety of ways. So they really want my Mithrite, which I will not give them. They like the gold. Even all of our dust would not get us there. Okay, the blood crystal, sure. You're feeling aggressive. I get it. There are people in this game who like to eat others. All right, 39. Okay, they went for it. Cool, good news. So we're going to be able to start our construction very, very soon here. We're just going to auto-resolve that. That's pretty straightforward. Hooray, faction quest. 25 adamantium, pretty good. Defeat the Ardent Mage army hidden within the temple ruin in Utanla. Your army must be led by a Mycaran hero equipped with Zolia's blade. So, we're going to have to go back to friendly territory real quick. So that we can do a re-equip, because right now we're using the Shard of Icariel. Zolia's blade does require Hyperium. Ah, man. That's a real shame. Okay, so we got our symbiosis plus science from every tile that we have. Every tile that we own that has science on it. It's pretty solid given the number of tiles that we own. Like you can see, even these tiles, which are not anomalies, these perfectly normal ones, are now outputting 11 points of resources each. So it's getting pretty okay. So we need to find a source of just a little bit more Hyperium, and we really don't have the time to wait on our extractors to finish. We definitely need that extractor, and the Hyperium will be high value for trade. Is it still the case that I could just buy 6 Hyperium? Yeah, I guess that's how we're doing it. I don't really necessarily want to make a big deal with another player. Alright. That'll do. I guess, should we buy... Can we buy... No, there's no Mithrite to be had. I wish I knew exactly how much Mithrite we have, because I'm sure it's 32 point something. And this is a situation where, like, it probably actually matters what that fractional point is, right? That's a shame. No value. Show me something cool. It's exotic alloys. Tier 3 titanium and glass steel weapons. Yeah, sea ruins. Sea ruins are very, very good. Explore your sea ruins. Then they're even better the second time. Alright, let's hit end turn for right now, see what our Mithrite goes up to, because it might go up to 33 or it might go up to 34. Okay, so we have 33 point something. I was hoping that we were at like 32.8, you know? Ah well. So, what I want to do this turn is start building the Throne of the Emperors. We will get it done very quickly. The Dust Waters run out, but can be reactivated. We can reactivate our die at this point. We are just a little bit off of the Dust Orchid. And the same with the Titan Bones and stuff. We don't actually need the Titan Bones right this moment, though. Oh, sure. I totally forgot about that. Rejoice! Productivity and morale have improved, and celebrations across the Empire have removed much of the doom and gloom of the season. The hangovers, I'm sure you'll agree, are a small price to pay. Okay, so yeah, let's find ourselves 2 Mithrite. We cannot buy enough Mithrite from the market, sadly. We do not have ruins to search. Okay, we can go ahead and do this this thing right now. It's not even better, really. Yeah, 77 attack plus 40%. 50 defense plus 50%. Okay, it has a lot more defense on it. That is definitely the case. 48 damage plus 30% damage. With Infantry Slayer 3, yeah, it's not really much of an upgrade. I would definitely not have bothered to do that. I don't know that it even is an upgrade. It might be. It is certainly sort of a downgrade, at least in some ways. Alright, we'll go over here and see if there are any ruins that we just have not found in this area. And I guess you can aim for that. We do have vision on another one. So Hospitality Den in 1. We probably get, we will probably get our Endless Mechanisms in a couple turns after that, probably like 2 or 3. And obviously that'll be a big value. All right, does anybody have 2 Mithrite that they're willing to trade me? We know some players are very desperate for Mithrite, although you have quite a bit. I will make a small deal. I will not declare war on your enemies on your behalf. That's simply not happening. But yeah, I'll just buy a little bit of Mithrite from you. So like 100? 100 doesn't quite cut it, but it's real close. So we're just gonna dial this in as carefully as possible. Not that we need the dust desperately, but you know, I just don't really feel like giving an advantage to the Morgar player. They are risky. They are a risky friend. You can never trust them. They'll make friends with you and then they'll black spot you, and it's just like, hey, whoa. What did I do? And I have no recourse against this. Okay, 155 for 2 Mithrite, honestly, is actually a pretty solid market price. Alright, and that lets me start doing the thing that I really want to do. So, we definitely want to build this in a place where it will level up immediately. So we have a couple of spots where we can put it down where it will have 3 districts around it right away. Is there any spot in particular, like where we're trying to build toward something? Not really. What is that? That's a luxury resource deposit. So yeah, there are not. Okay, I guess there's this. There's a mutant marsh on the edge of the territory that we are not yet getting the benefit from. So we could build this like here, and then build one more district adjacent to it, reaching out in that direction, and that'll level it up. I think that's reasonable. If I bounce us all over to industry, it does take a couple turns off of it, and I do want that income quickly. Alright, well I believe we're going to get our second legendary building pretty much unopposed here. Even if somebody else was to start building it, there's no way they're going to beat us to it. And you know, our city's so good at building things that we could probably win a wonder victory if it does turn out that we can still get our faction quest done in time. I had assumed that that would not really be in the cards, but I have to say, I'm pretty surprised with how quickly we've been making progress here. We're still only on stage 4 of it, but if we keep running at this rate, maybe it's doable. Alright, so that reveals them. Unfortunately, they're standing in a position that does not allow... If I back up, will that... Okay, that'll give them room to come over here and fight me. Okay, so let's do this thing. You would like a commercial agreement, because now that I have roads, we are at least getting some land trade. We should definitely be running the Dust Orchid as soon as that is available every time. Yeah, we don't need to don't need to plan that one very carefully. Hooray, we did it. We have claimed the Testament of the Urkins. Minus 30% science and food on city. The Vaulter Fallen have been avenged. In part. Faresh Zima, a woman from the lineage of the Butcher, is dead. I can feel the collective's condemnation, but the Mycera don't understand. This is justice. An unexpected boon. Zima carried an ancient tome on the Urkins. Wouldn't it be even sweeter to complete our vengeance with the instrument of our slaughter? I like the fact that it's kind of cool to get to have a protagonist who is doing a clearly condemnable thing and get to still have your faction be sort of like morally on the right side. Like, the fungus knows that this is screwed up and not helpful. I still feel the Mycera's disapproval, but I also feel their acceptance. Every day our union grows stronger. My thoughts entangle with the collectives, such that I'm sometimes unsure where my mind ends and the Mycera's begins. Calmed, I follow threads of meditations deeper and deeper into the distant past. I witness that the Mycera and the Urkins have clashed many times over the ages. The cycle is always the same. The Urkins emerge from the heart of Auriga and wander the land, wreaking havoc on the fledgling cultures they encounter. Before they can strike a terminal blow, the Mycera rise up from the depths and pacify the beasts. For time immemorial, the Mycera have been the Urkins' keepers, and now the Urkins rise again. The Mycera rise likewise. I wonder how many souls like myself have been merged into the collective over the millennia. Within the collective's memories, I find no impression of such spirits. Either I haven't reached deep enough into the Mycera's recollections, or the psyches of these individuals have blended so intimately that they've become untraceable. Will this be my fate too? From that well, another thought springs. Observing from a vantage point that spans the ages, my own vendetta against the mages feels petty, inconsequential. With the Urkins breaking the crust and roaming the lands once again, I must focus my will on a greater matter than revenge. I will prepare a Mycera hero. So equip a hero with the Testament of the Urkins and have them govern the main city for 10 turns. Yep, that's kind of what I figured was going to happen when I saw the debuffs on it. Well... Alright, Ululani, bad news. I am bummed out that that's one that just takes 10 turns to finish, no matter what you do as well. I would very much like to speed through these steps, obviously. I am intentionally... Look at how much I'm not taking all of your pearls. I hope you will remember this. My important contributions. I'm gonna say yes to this. There's really not any downside. We both get the dust gains. Yeah, I accept. Oops, I just clicked outside the window while trying to click the top left button there. So who are we running trade to? It's just the Mizari, actually. So that agreement does nothing. Weird. Why even offer? Also, I'm kind of surprised. I guess it's because are we both friends with Blue? Yeah, I guess it's because we're both friends with Blue that I'm allowed to run those trade routes through that way. So what's your deal? You're at war with Purple as well. So again, we are definitely pulling better free diplomatic points per turn than Green is at this point. Are we making up the gap? Not really. They're making deals and stuff. Yeah, they're still about 150 ahead of us. Okay, well, our influence production is swinging into higher gear here. And at some point, we're going to have to commit people to it in a pretty serious way, but we'll worry about that once the Throne of the Emperors is up. Obviously, that's going to have to take precedent. So let's search as many of these as we can quickly. So that we are ready to search them again immediately when Endless Mechanisms comes up. Okay, 30 dust orchids, pretty fun. Purple is getting real unpopular, and they have been black spotted. It is not to my benefit for purple to be removed from the game. But I'm not really sure how much control I have there. Like, I don't know what I can do about it. It doesn't feel like very much. It feels like we probably just have to hope. All right, come on. Show me some cool hidden ruins that nobody else has ever found before. Found nothing in that one. All right. I am inclined, I think, to just have this ship sit approximately here for 2 turns. That's probably the right move. And we're back up to a reasonable amount of positive food, so we could be putting some of these together. But every one of those that we run is a little bit more food output, and it's a little bit less population, and okay, we got our throne. I mean, there was not really any chance that we wouldn't, right? So we got the throne, but we also did somebody else build the? They did build the reliquary already. So this is the dust focused one. My guess would be that we're probably looking at the Broken Lords on that one. And Ululani Raui, what can you grab that will make a difference? This is not really meaningful. Okay, yeah, Geomantic Wiles, that's pretty solid. We could go back and come up the tree to grab Defender and Face Reader, both of which are actually meaningful. We have not been harassed by purple at all yet on the spy stuff, and maybe that's just going to continue to be the case. Okay, so this research agreement actually does have benefit, but I don't want to do it because I do not want to give them any more raw science resource output. I think I am going to wander off just a little bit here. We can look at the we can look into this bank of unexplored tiles and then just be within a turn of returning here. Now, unfortunately, I have no idea whether other players have to see you take their pearls to know that you took them and thus to get mad at you about it. It might be the case that that green would instantly know if we grab those. So I do hate that we have minus 30% food here, but we really need one more point of population so that we can build another district to level that up. So let's just go ahead and food focus for the moment. Are we going to be able to get that other ruin this turn? Discover a total of 3 science-based technologies from any era. Glowing with supernatural vigor in the dark of the ruins, a group of haunts circulate around broken shards of a yellow crystalline object. You approach, and they eye you curiously. What are your theories on its nature? An apparition asks. Take your time. It has lain here for centuries. This is, if you've played Dungeon of the Endless, this is very clearly the power crystal from Dungeon of the Endless that is used to run the elevators so that you may escape the dungeon. I tried to do like a spooky, menacing ghost voice there, and it just did not come out at all, basically. All right, so we're gonna get a lot of double searches here, a lot of extra resource incomes, which I am very happy about. And so, what are we doing right now? Like, what can we build in this city? What is even of value? I guess one thing we can do is we can sell units for dust and build more units. We can't build anything right at this moment because there's no space for it in the garrison, but we could just pop a couple of these out and then build units. It's probably a good idea for us to have a real army. You know what? Honestly, let's bump 2 units out of the garrison for the moment because the hero right now is a couple units short. Okay, I do have a ruin set up over here for teleportation purposes. I thought I did. I thought I had remembered to do that. And of course, they're just running around in my territory, threatening my pearls. And if I say anything about it, I'm the bad guy. Also, it feels like this winter has been winter forever. There we go. The game heard me and got embarrassed. So I have no idea what we're doing from here with our research. Presumably, there's lots of good stuff that we need to pick up. The Moonleaf has run out, and it'll be a second before we can reactivate it. Finishing quests left and right, apparently. Okay, cool. Visit the highlighted ruins to get a couple of Nidya. Alright, I guess we'll do that, probably. Listen, I'm going to research every ruin that we've seen so far. We'll get to it eventually. Okay, 35 Quicksilver is pretty whatever. What is this other quest that we completed? I should probably look at both of these. Oh, okay. So it didn't mean discover 3 new ones. It meant have discovered a total of 3 science technologies. Raise your science ministry by 1 more level than previously. That seems like a thing we're probably going to be able to do. Yeah, and like we absolutely want to be here, right? And our influence output is such that we're going to be able to buy the Empire plan that we want. We're definitely, like, we're aiming for something like this at the very least. And I mean, it would be cool to do that whole thing. 2300's maybe pushing it a little bit. Definitely double XP on the heroes. Definitely give me more money. We don't need to be running the rest of this stuff necessarily. Yeah, and 300 science from each of these ruin searches. The trait that we got off of the Kapaku, which I thought was maybe going to turn out to be kind of a dud, has actually turned into an incredible source of additional research. So I can't help but notice there's a pretty large number of green troops around here. An army in Mathanir will give you 30 grass silk when you kill them. I mean, fine, I guess. I don't really care about that. Also, can't help but notice you're all blocking off my ruins. They left 1 tile nearby open. Okay, activate 3 Titan Bone boosters in the next 3 turns for the Guardian of Fire. That seems very silly. So a Fire Guardian is reported to be heading toward your realms. I just like... Here, we can kill this quest army real fast while we're here. And the thing is, we just fired a Titan Bone booster, didn't we? So, like, effectively, I would have to fire 4 Titan Bone boosters this turn in order for that to be a real thing, which I obviously do not want to do. Hooray! More reinforcement positions. We finally got there. But that was not the quest army that had my loot. This one has my loot that I don't actually need. So y'all could just merge up. Okay. So it's a pretty unimpressive military force, that's for sure. We are halfway up to the next era. What are these legendary deeds? Have a city with 30 population. We lead on that, of course. Complete the most quests. We lead on that. No big surprise. Be the first to have 50 of each strategic resource. So I am in first place with 2 of the resources being at 50. And this would actually be pretty cool. This is a city improvement that we will always be getting the benefit from. So yeah, there's something there. What is next? I mean, like, Imperial funding would be very big for us. As would any of this industry or food stuff. Yeah, hothouses and fertilizer plants would both be just bananas in terms of population. I think this is what we're going for. We're just going to keep pushing our population really hard. We'll get some other stuff, and there are definitely other things we need, but what if we had even more population? Also, it's looking to me like we're probably out of luck on ruins down here, so let's rotate back around to the stuff that we know about. Now, see, this is a little unfortunate. 40 gold and a pretty decent amount of science. The weather is moving eastward a couple of tiles each turn, so all of this seaweed is going to blow over here and be directly in my way. It's not really anything I can do about it. It just is a bummer. Am I allowed to search ruins with Fakir? Is that a thing that we can do? Because we could wait and search these with our hero, obviously. Teleport over here via the, the ruin. Maybe I should. I want the things from them, but I also want the XP. Yeah, we should wait. So I think that's got our general idea then. We're not really going to have anything worth building for a while here. We actually are going to end up just like selling units, I think. Is there anything of value that we could buy on the marketplace? We could buy some spies or something, maybe? If there's a forgotten hero, there isn't. Because we don't really need another commander. We certainly don't need another governor, obviously. So yeah, the only thing we would buy heroes for at this point is spying. We could buy spices. I currently don't have a spice booster running because we have no spice income. So what do we need to get to? Only 19? That should probably be happening, right? That should probably be happening basically all the time. It is a shame that with all our territory and all of our sea regions and stuff, we just don't have income. How much would it be to buy 2 Moonleaf? More than exists. Okay, we can just wait for next turn. That's fine. So I guess with that, we're good. Yeah, we're gonna have potentially a lot of dust here, and I guess we're just gonna use it for trade. There's not really anything else to do with it. Alright, let's run that Moonleaf now. Nope, it's got to... The turn has to actually start first. Listen, the engine has a lot of things to go through at the moment. There's a lot of bodies on this map. Alright, we're getting an extra 90 science per turn from having opened up land trade, which is good at least. Next turn we'll be able to build the burrow. So I'm going to pop 1 Epitane out of the city here. We're going to build 1 more. Is that a siege that I just saw? It is. Can we try to get players to chill out on each other? What if I asked you to... Oh, right, we have alliances available. I got to actually do that. No, I cannot ask them to make peace with anybody. Alright, the other army in Methanir was killed by somebody else. That's fine. So let's make some alliances here. You know what would be great to do is if we can make alliances with the player who we are most concerned about winning. The problem with an alliance is that the other player, provided that they have at least some influence income, the other player can break the alliance at any time. So you can't necessarily rely on an alliance with you being a way that somebody might carry you to victory, but it at least creates a sort of a possibility. Let's see how they... Ooh, boy, they are not into it, in fact. Yeah, we don't really have... I'm sure we don't have anything that they want that would allow them to do this. They're thinking they're gonna win solo, and I get why they would think that. I kind of don't want to do it with them, right? I don't want to be giving them the extra diplomatic points. You consider us blood brothers at the moment. Okay, we can maybe get there with you. And in fact, Hospitality Den Tech will do the thing. We could even get something back off of them. Is there something that we ran past that we want to go back and take? We don't have dust alchemy. Obviously, the dust transmuter would be a lot of money. We do have the ability to add more stuff here, so I'm not necessarily worried about the fact that we're overdoing the bar. Modernized administration. Modernized administration would be very good for me. So what if we do that, and then I give you something else? And remember, the more expensive this deal is, the better it actually is for us. Wow, they really want low-tier resources. I mean, I'll do something like this. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and leave this deal partially to their benefit. Alright, an alliance is worth a lot of diplomatic points per turn. So you are friends with the Mizari and... okay, with everybody, basically. So I'm curious if we can ring out some more alliances here. Okay, you don't really want very much of what I've got, unfortunately. Yeah, that's probably not happening. This, as we just saw, is probably not happening. We don't even want an alliance with Green because I don't want them to be getting the extra points off of me. I think that's all solid. So in terms of diplomatic points now... yeah, 7 diplomatic points per turn from the one alliance we have. So each one's a big deal. If we can get either of these two to go for it, we really, like, it behooves us to make that happen. Out of curiosity, if I were to just give you everything... okay, the bar at least becomes... the end of the bar becomes visible. But no, it does not work. Okay. Well, we'll keep our eye out for opportunities, doing nice things for people, trying to get them into that Blood Brother state so that they consider us friendly. Will definitely help. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna sell our extra unit here. So you... okay, this didn't move over. I'll take it, I'm fine with that. Where else do we want to grab? Do we want to... I probably want to scoop up the ruins that are over here that are nearby before we go back to the west. So let's, like, run down the road to this. We'll hit these 3, hit those 2, and then we'll head west, loot this, and then use this to jump over to the island. Obviously, we're hoping for some of the more exotic rewards here. We're not really looking for just dust and science over and over again. Seaweed, fortunately, is in a place where it doesn't actually matter that it's there, because we're already going to have to stop there. Since we are such close friends with Blue, I wonder. You think we can get a city off of them, maybe? Maybe there's, like, a bad city that they would be willing to... let's put these on the thing and just see if... okay, Lioneth, maybe. Or Fritta. They don't care much for Fritta at all. We can get Fritta real cheap. So Fritta and Lioneth. Where are those? So that's Lioneth, that's Fritta. I could see why they're willing to part with these. Oh, the game just minimized for reasons that are unclear to me. Okay. Lioneth is actually developed. Yeah, I would certainly much rather have Lioneth. Okay, let's see if we can make that happen. So, I'm assuming this stuff is... oh, actually, they really want a commercial agreement. I guess that makes sense. They love dust. We're not really trading with them, which it seems like they're maybe not aware of, but I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of that. I don't know if the AI actually considers the number of trade routes that you have with them when considering the value of commercial and research agreements. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do this. I would love a new region with a bunch of watchtowers already built and stuff. And so the trait that we will get from the Broken Lords, we saw before, is just, it's mostly just more dust. But you know, there are a lot of things you can do with dust. For a Mycera player, we own a surprising number of regions on the map. We have actually a fairly large empire. Like, we're legitimately just bigger than Purple is in terms of raw regions. Very strange stuff. The Mycera are powerful, and they're super cool. I do not know how to play them. I am not good at this, but they're a really neat faction. It's a really cool way of implementing this single city faction that is fairly common in 4X games. There's a lot of them that do this kind of thing. So yeah, we're definitely building a burrow in a position to take advantage of this thing. Plus, this just gets us a hell of a lot of additional tiles. And then, yeah, Aura of Empire. Seems pretty good. We have a lot of level 2 districts. And we can't build the customs ministry without a hell of a lot of additional Hyperium. And honestly, the extra trade routes would be valuable to us. We do have the ability to trade with like pretty much everybody everywhere. Yep, Purple's annoyed and threatening me openly, but I suspect it will not matter. Their empire is shrinking pretty rapidly. Actually, did they take some stuff from other people? Did they always extend this far east? I will admit I have not been watching the player borders as closely as I maybe could. A research agreement? Probably not. Endless mechanisms for a small amount of titanium is just like, why would you even offer me that? I guess the hope is always that your opponents are not smart, that they do not make good decisions, and there is a lot of value in giving people the opportunity to make huge mistakes, even if you do have faith in their play skill and stuff. Like, people get overwhelmed, bad decisions happen all the time. Creating room for your opponents to screw up is a very important part of winning a strategy game. So I guess I don't actually think that was an unreasonable thing to do. Alright, we'll have this soon. So we have, I think, the watchtowers on the other island already flipped over, right? Yeah, cool. So you can see when we click on a watchtower, you can see it's grabbing itself and one region nearby. And I believe the watchtower upgrade technologies that are scattered around, like this. Yeah, for us, you can see it at the bottom of the thing there, plus 3 additional hexes. So if you have both of the outpost upgrade technologies, it makes the watchtower grab all of the tiles that are adjacent to it. Yeah, plus 6 there. So they are useful. Might be worth considering. Obviously, we have things to focus on for the moment. Is it possible to buy Hyperium? No, Hyperium is still in pretty short supply. Looks like none has gone on the market since I bought last. So that trade route building, probably not in the cards. We could go hunting for Hyperium from a player. Yeah, players have stuff. What about just 18? Just 18 of your Hyperium, my dearest friend. You do want a research agreement. And again, remember, like, within reason, it's actually good for us if the deals are expensive. We do still have to hit our own empire plans. I think it's probably okay to just do this in resources. Yeah, it's nice to have a player who actually likes you. It makes negotiation stuff way easier. So we do want to get nutrition chemistry down as quickly as possible once those things are actually finished. So do I want to try to burn through this stuff a little bit faster? Wow, I'm surprised that didn't get Aura of Empire down to within the first turn. All right, we'll do it like that. We will, in fact, focus up, because obviously we're going to want to get these food buildings finished. So we need to have our plan in place. We need to figure out what my empire plan is and make sure that we're running enough influence to get it. And then we're going to have to start committing really hard on trading with other players and building up our diplomatic points. And of course, looking for opportunities to move peace up to alliance where we can, because that's worth an awful lot of points. Even over a pretty short time, it ends up being worth a lot of points. Oh no, a strange crop of mushrooms appears, and its spores cause confusion and hesitation, even for the most highly trained minds. You know, they're trained in a lot of things, but one thing they're not trained in is, somebody else killed the Guardian. Works for me. One thing that they are not trained in is spores. Dealing with lots of spores. All right, so we definitely want to build these. They both take 10 of the 10 Palladian. We cannot buy enough Palladian for it to make a difference, but I bet we can trade some Palladian off of one of our very good friends. One of our very good friends who somehow just always has the resources that we need. So I'm bringing in quite a lot. But, you know, having a little extra laying around doesn't hurt. And my dude is going through, apparently, just like really tearing through supplies of glass, steel, and titanium, probably due to the war that he's fighting. He's like, building troops all the time. So we will definitely move the customs ministry down below this stuff. Okay. So one finished this turn, one finished next turn. That seems pretty good. So I am going to wait until we finish assimilating Lioneth to actually calculate the amount of influence we're going to need for our next empire plan, because when that happens, it is going to change. Should we assimilate? Should we grab one of these ruins for teleport purposes? We probably should, right? Because we're fairly far away from our territory here. Yeah, let's overgrow this one. So what do we want next? What do we need? I mean, it could be the case that this is good. It's often not necessary to take the higher level upgrade, just in terms of the raw number of tiles that you're covering, because a lot of watchtowers are adjacent to the edge of a region, and so you don't get the 6 tiles around them anyway. So this could be all the upgrading we need. But honestly, I think I'm more likely to want the building that the other upgrade gives, the one that gives you bonus science from your trade routes. So if we're thinking we're probably going to take that anyway, there's no sense in taking the lower upgrade. Let's get Imperial funding. Imperial funding is very, very good for us. Has the Mazari player made any actual motion on... Okay, so a long period of no new researches. They are currently researching one of the endless texts. And I mean, we know which one, right? We are gaining a little bit faster than green now. We've cut their lead down to 130 points. It would be really helpful if we could get either brown or... What is this? Like lilac? If we get one of these two over here. What if I gave you that research agreement? And also, everything else I own. We can get the bar visible at least. You probably don't want any of my techs. Wow, even my fortresses don't really make a difference. Okay, this is getting closer. We can almost do this. Would you like a fortress? No, not really. All right. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep looking for opportunities. I'm not going to bother allying with purple because I think purple's probably not going to be in the game that much longer, it looks like. Well, you know, they're losing the war, but they also do just have a huge amount of total territory. And wait, was Almanvar purple before? Maybe they're pushing back a little bit. Maybe they're not going to lose that war. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, I always say, but it's a lot easier to keep an eye on what's going on if you can remember what the previous state looked like, which, as we've proven, not necessarily a thing that I know how to do. Alright, come on, really good sea ruins. Alright, well, I mean... I'm never going to be mad about 300 free science. That's a reasonable start. All right, and then the customs ministry is honestly not super high priority. Once we get this food building done, we're definitely going to just bounce everybody back over to food for the moment. Wow, blue has an army, that is for sure. You can see purple is stepping up and getting aggressive. So, an army of predators. This is their crossbow unit. backed up with cavalry and Harmonites for heavy infantry stuff, up against an awful lot of stalwarts and riders. And we have, at this point, we have a lot of personal experience with these units. We know how they fight. I don't know. Purple seems to be locally fairly outnumbered. I guess it depends on how well blue moves all these units. Yeah, and then blue's sieging up here. I think it looks to me like purple is still losing pretty badly. I would love more strategic deposits from our city. Or sorry, more resources from the strategic deposits in our city, rather. So are we just running? Yeah, I guess we're just running across here. We're gonna grab these regions over here, and then we're gonna, or the ruins in this region over here, and then teleport. And I guess there's only the two. And then we will Fungaport back over here when the eclipse happens, because there is a nice tight nexus of temple ruins in this area. This is the overgrown one. We gotta take a step back here, and then we can port. I do love this mobility. A big part of what I love about the Alayi is the huge amount of mobility they give you, and the Mycera do feel sort of similar. Alright, do we have to keep everybody on industry to get that done in one turn? We do not. Alright, let's go back to... Do we want to pump up population, or is this the point? I guess right now is when you would want to start focusing on influence to make sure that you can buy a very large and impressive empire plan. So we'll see the actual value for the big empire plan in Lioneth with Lioneth in 3 turns, and then at that time we can pull people back off of influence and focus on food or something again. So where's the next? Okay, the next ruin's pretty far away. We could really use some upgrades to our ship designs. I don't know if I have anything that's going to make fire ships any faster, unfortunately. Let's have a look here. So it would be in these slots. Okay, that gives improved movement. So thanks to the weapons technologies that we were given by searching some of those sea runes, we do in fact have a little bit of ability to move faster. Trading out some defensive stats, but at this point I don't necessarily think we're going to be fighting people. Maybe ever again. Yeah, I'm just going to take that. Do the retrofit. Hooray, now we have 1 extra point of movement. You know, it'll add up. So we cannot retrofit in Green's territory because we're not allied with Green. I'm pretty sure you can retrofit in ally territory. But also, we're going to be back over here soon enough. Hydromiel. Okay, I think we're going to pop that booster. I mean, there's probably a fair amount of dust. Yeah, let's go ahead and... It was like 100 dust a turn for 10 turns. That's not too bad. Go up here and grab this, and then I think we probably just bounce back out of here. Okay, 10 Mithrite. That's exactly the kind of reward that I was looking for earlier. You know, this is not maybe the most optimal moment for it. So we finished Imperial funding. I have no idea what our last tech is going to be. I mean, we do have another food thing here. It should probably just be this, right? Refrigeration plant is very, very powerful. We're leaving behind a lot of the military stuff that we usually will research because we managed to engineer an extremely friendly position in this game where I think it is viable to do so. Purple was able to buy off the black spot. Definitely keep these rolling. No reason to ever stop that. Ululani Raui continues to be powerful. And yeah, at this point, I think maybe it is just come up through the bottom here and start grabbing things to make the city safer. Not that I necessarily expect we're going to get attacked or anything. Unfortunately, the Kapaku faction tree area is built really strangely. With most factions, there would be a link that would let you get to Defender more easily. We're going to have to come up all the way through the bottom. You cannot travel down links, unfortunately, so we can't get there from Inspirational Leader. So we're just going to have to take the long way. Oh, eliminate all enemy units in Tinen. Apparently that happened. Return to Piku's lair to get Piku's blade. We are not that close to that. But okay, I guess that'll be where we're headed next. It's a searchable ruin anyway. Okay, this is my pearl. If anybody gets mad at me for taking my pearl, well, I don't know. I was gonna say, you know, I'll do something, but what would I do? Okay, definitely of higher import. So where are we at on this on our faction quest here? Okay, we're at 9. Almost finished. I am so eager to return to our full outputs. Do I want to have the hero get in the water and grab this ruin? We'll have the ships swing through. But you know, searching sea ruins is even better XP. We'll take a little detour to get this one. I'm not going to sail around for more because, you know, slow movement in the water and everything. And we have the ability to buy this out, but I'm not going to because I think I'm saving our money up for exorbitant deals with other players. So let's get... This turn, Lioneth is finished. Oh, the eclipse is starting. In fact, the eclipse is fully on. I missed the lighting change last turn. That makes this not a... You know what? We're going to skip it. We're going to get back on land. Fortunately, there's a swift conflux waiting for us right here. Going to go ahead and grab that. And then, yeah, just jump back over to a place where there's lots of stuff to search. There's a pretty solid network of these things over here. Yeah, let's jump back to this one. I don't like seeing that ultimatum notifier on the right side there. Junder's Wand. Okay, so a pretty high tier scepter. Not really a thing we have any use for. What is this? Is somebody busting our relationship down? Yeah, green. Interesting. Not who I was expecting, and I think definitely not the right move. Black spot has been reset. With a greater understanding of the great beasts, it is time to tame another Urkin or retain all 3 if already tamed. I have concerns. So right, this is flipped over. That's a pretty good yield. We're still working on that ruin. Okay, so here's the problem. I think that the Urkins stopped spawning because all of the regions were filled. I think the world got taken over very thoroughly, very quickly. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pull Fakir out of the ground so that this region is not owned by a player. And we're gonna see if that motivates another Urkin to emerge. And if not, I don't know what we're gonna do. Our faction quest may be stuck if that's the case. We do, I think, own... Do we own 100% of the existing Urkins? Is there another one somewhere? I wish that there was an easier way to do this. It's like an Urkin button that we could click somewhere. I wonder if I could release Fakir and then reclaim him, if that would work. I might have to look into it. All right, let's do our other turns here real fast. Yeah, I guess we'll come across and grab these two, and then we'll start back up from there. You're headed toward Captain Piku's horde. Okay. So all this stuff is done. We now have accurate costs for our empire plans. Let's figure this out. I definitely want to do that. Definitely want to get plus 50% food. So this would cost us $26.80. So we have a lot of influence to play with here. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with all of it. I definitely want you at least back on peace. This is less about the diplomatic points, because again, this doesn't give us any diplomatic points relative to them. I mean, I guess it's still accelerating me relative to like the other players. Boy, you do not want to be friends with me though. You have correctly assessed that we are direct competitors. And we don't really have that much stuff that can make movement on this. I do share a direct border with Green over here. And obviously, I'm in the middle of their seas, which is awkward if they can attack us, so I would really like to get this done. I feel like giving you Imperial funding is such a boost. But I think it's going to be necessary. Just to ensure that we are not in a position where I could be suddenly attacked. Because I am really not in... I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to deal with the potential of sudden attacks. Here. Have this stuff, you monster. Now, quickly. Okay, we can get the alliance bar to a green place. I'm doing a terrible job of clicking where I mean to. So you I don't feel so bad giving Imperial funding to, because I don't really consider you to be a legitimate threat for victory. It's maybe a little harsh. You would gladly take all of the titanium. We're going to need glass, steel, and palladium. So I can trade you my adamantium. We will just rebuild those supplies. I could give up the mithrite. I mean, like, getting another alliance going is a pretty big deal. We want to make sure that the people that we're forming alliances with don't totally hate each other. Yeah, currently they're at peace. Because you don't want to create a situation where you're putting negative pressure on any of your other relationships. Sometimes, maybe I just give them all of my money. Sometimes you can do that thing. You can make friends with two people who don't like each other and then use the positive relationship modifier they get with each other for being friends with you, for having a common friend, to sort of like push them toward being friendlier if you want to try to avoid a war between two other players. It is unreliable, though, is what I would say. You're going to have a hard time making sure that the thing you want happens. Yeah, I'll take this. Alright, so that's a lot of diplomatic points coming in per turn. How are you feeling? Alliance is still pretty much impossible with you. And with you, I just had a change, and I don't really have stuff you want, but okay. So I think this is our relatively stable diplomatic position, which means that we have a diplomatic point income of 14 plus 9 plus somewhere around here. There's another 1 for being at Cold War with the bug guys. Yeah, there it is. So 24 per turn. It's not awesome, given the amount of time we have left and the amount of ground we have to cover, but it's a good base. And then we're just going to have to earn, like I was saying, a whole lot from trade, which we're going to need a whole lot of influence to perform, and we're in a good spot for that. So I think this is where we're going to call it for today. And thank you all so much for watching. And also, thank you for patience as I work out the microphone stuff. We have a position here, and we have a direction, And we have the resources to start getting it done. At least we have the resources to pay for the trade deals. Now we just need to figure out exactly how we're going to make enough deals happen to to generate all of the diplomatic points via trade that we need. Just like I don't really have a good plan necessarily for that. We'll figure it out. And we'll see you then.